I was dying. But by pure accident, I crossed into another world. In this new world, I was reborn as the heir of the mighty star palace, and awakened an incomparable power. With overwhelming abilities, endless wealth, supreme authority, and even 4 beautiful guards by my side, I thought my new life would be perfect. But behind the glory of Star Palace lurked countless dangers. The evil Star Guards watched my every move, while terrifying hunters and endless monsters waited outside the palace walls. What should have been a dream life slowly turned into a nightmare. This is the story of the one who stands at the center of chaos, the Eye of the Storm. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more amazing recap and explanation videos like this. Now, without any further ado, let's dive into today's story. Years ago, a mysterious meteor suddenly crashed onto Starland, but the meteor itself wasn't the real disaster. Alongside it came terrifying creatures from outer space known as hunters, bloodthirsty monsters that viewed humans as nothing more than food. Within only a few years, the hunters spread across the entire world, turning cities into graveyards and humanity into prey. But while the meteor brought destruction, it also awakened evolution within certain humans. These evolved individuals gained superhuman abilities capable of fighting back against the hunters. Among them, one man stood above everyone else, the legendary King of Stars, Long Ming. Long Ming became humanity's strongest evolver, gathered 72 powerful Star Guards under his command, and built the final safe haven for mankind. Star Palace. To humans, he wasn't just a leader anymore, he was hope itself. However, during a massive battle against the hunters, even the mighty King of Stars was eventually defeated. His disappearance became one of the world's greatest mysteries, and after that, nobody knew whether he was alive or dead. Far away from all this chaos, inside a hospital room, a 16-year-old boy named Xiaobai was slowly waiting for death. Ever since childhood, he had suffered from a terminal illness that completely destroyed his respiratory system. Doctors had already declared there was no cure, and even simple breathing had become painful for him. As Xiaobai quietly laid on the hospital bed staring at the ceiling, he could hear his mother crying beside him. The doctors spoke with helpless expressions as one of them warned, "You should prepare yourself. His respiratory system has already completely collapsed. Death could come at any moment." Hearing those words, Xiaobai didn't react much anymore. He had already accepted his fate long ago. In a calm but bitter tone, he thought to himself, "I'm scared of death. But what I fear most is the moment the Grim Reaper finally arrives." Soon, his vision started fading. His body became colder, and even the sound of the heart monitor began disappearing. Just when he thought everything was over, a voice suddenly echoed in the darkness. "Master, wake up! Please wake up!" The next moment, Xiaobai suddenly opened his eyes in shock. Instead of a hospital room, he found himself lying on soft grass beneath a night sky. Right above him was an unbelievably beautiful blonde girl with tears in her eyes, desperately shaking his body. "You can't die, Master," she cried anxiously. Completely stunned, Xiaobai blankly stared at her before muttering, What? Is this—" At first he thought he was hallucinating because of death, but when he tried moving his fingers, his eyes widened in disbelief. My hand. It moved. Not only that, his body no longer felt weak. The suffocating pain in his chest was completely gone. He could breathe normally, stand properly, and move freely for the very first time in years. Overwhelmed with shock, Xiaobai immediately pinched himself hard before shouting, "This definitely isn't a dream." Meanwhile, the blonde girl looked at him with sparkling eyes filled with admiration and relief. "Master, are you okay?" she asked softly. Still confused, Xiaobai took a step back and nervously asked, "First of all, why are you calling me Master?" The girl then revealed an unbelievable truth. According to her, Su Yanglai had been personally chosen by Long Ming and brought to Star Palace as humanity's new heir. Hearing that, Su Yanglai pointed at himself in disbelief and awkwardly laughed. Me? The heir to Star Palace? Chosen by the King of Stars? There's no way. But the girl nodded seriously and explained, Star Palace is humanity's final sanctuary. Master has inherited Lord Long Ming's responsibility to protect mankind. The more Su Yanglai listened, the crazier everything sounded to him. A sick teenager who was moments away from death suddenly becoming humanity's savior. Even he couldn't accept it. I can't believe this, he muttered. Seeing his doubtful expression, the blonde girl calmly bit her own finger until blood dripped down her skin. If words are not enough, she said seriously while staring into the dark forest, then I will show you proof. The scent of blood quickly spread through the air. At first, nothing happened, but then, Sha! The bushes violently rustled from every direction. Su Yanglai's expression instantly froze as a horrifying figure slowly emerged from the darkness. Their bodies were covered in blood, their eyes glowed with madness, and their mouths twitched hungrily like wild beasts staring at prey. Those are hunters? Su Yanglai asked with a trembling voice. The blonde girl stepped protectively in front of him and answered with a cold expression. Yes. These creatures were once humans, but after being infected, they transformed into hunters. At that moment, surrounded by monsters beneath the dark forest sky, Su Yanglai finally realized something terrifying. Everything she said was completely real. As the horrifying hunters surrounded them from every direction, Su Yanglai finally began understanding how ruined this world truly was. Looking at the endless crowd of monsters, he muttered in disbelief, This entire world became their habitat? The blonde girl sadly nodded before explaining, Because of the hunters, our world has already become a paradise for monsters. Even after hearing all that, Su Yanglai surprisingly stayed calm. Instead of panicking, he casually looked at the girl and said, Looks like you really weren't lying to me. Then, without hesitation, he suddenly turned around and started walking away. Confused, the blonde girl quickly asked, Master, where are you going? Without even looking back, Su Yanglai waved his hand and calmly replied, I've been stuck in a hospital bed for 16 years. Now that I can finally move around freely, I want to enjoy this feeling first. Despite being surrounded by monsters, the thing Su Yanglai feared more than death was losing the chance to truly live. The blonde girl blinked in surprise before asking, Aren't you scared, Master? Su Yanglai smiled bitterly and answered honestly, Of course I'm scared. But I'm more scared of dying before I even get to enjoy my life. Hearing that answer, the blonde girl suddenly smiled warmly. For the first time, she looked genuinely happy. Long Ming. You really did choose the right person, she whispered softly to herself. At that exact moment, the hunters suddenly began rushing toward Su Yanglai from every direction. Their twisted faces and glowing eyes made the forest look like a nightmare come to life. Seeing the monsters charging at him, Su Yanglai instantly panicked. They're coming after me now, he shouted while stumbling backward in terror. One of the hunters leaped straight toward him with its claws stretched out, ready to rip him apart. But before the attack could land, a mysterious voice suddenly echoed inside Su Yanglai's mind. Don't be afraid. Show me your courage. Su Yanglai froze in shock and looked around. Who's speaking? He shouted nervously. Then suddenly, the world around him darkened for a brief moment, and the image of a tall man with long white hair appeared before him. The man's presence felt overwhelming, almost godlike. This body inside your body, the man calmly said while pointing toward Su Yanglai's chest, contains another soul. Su Yanglai's eyes widened in confusion. Another soul? What does that even mean? Before he could get an answer, the mysterious figure disappeared like smoke, and the giant sphere exploded into countless streams of purple energy that rained down upon the hunters like divine punishment. One after another, the monsters were instantly erased from existence without even leaving corpses behind. As the purple light surrounded him, Su Yanglai suddenly felt a strange warmth spreading throughout his body. Energy began rushing into him from every direction, causing his entire body to glow. Startled, he looked at his hands and muttered, "What is this feeling? It feels so warm." The purple energy continued flowing into him endlessly, making Su Yanglai feel lighter and stronger with every second. "It feels like all this power is gathering inside my body," he whispered in disbelief. The blonde girl then landed beside him and explained with a proud smile, "Master, this is your unique ability, the Endless Dim." According to her, the Endless Dim possessed the power to absorb energy and even steal abilities from others. Hearing that explanation, Su Yanglai immediately made a weird expression and awkwardly scratched his cheek. "So, basically, it's a skill that steals other people's powers?" he asked. The blonde girl innocently nodded. "Exactly." Su Yanglai couldn't help laughing nervously. That sounds less like a hero ability and more like something a villain would use. But then another thought suddenly crossed his mind. Since the ability absorbed power from others, maybe it had also absorbed his illness itself. Touching his chest in disbelief, he quietly muttered, "Could this be why my disease disappeared?" Before he could think any further, the blonde girl suddenly dropped to one knee in front of him with a serious expression. "Star Palace needs you, Master," she said respectfully. "Please return with me and inherit the throne." The massive walls of Star Palace finally came into view as a strong wind swept across the open land. Giant beast bones were scattered outside the area, half buried in the grass like ancient remains. Above the sky, several wyverns flew past one after another, their roars echoing through the air. Pinger walked beside Su Yanglai while glancing upward at the flying creatures. "Is Master really not interested in the throne?" she asked again, unable to hide her curiosity. Su Yanglai kept both hands in his hoodie pockets and sighed tiredly. His expression looked more troubled than excited. "I still need to find some food first," he muttered. Pinger blinked before quietly looking forward again. Ahead of them stood an enormous wall surrounding the entire city. The structure was unbelievably tall, stretching far into the sky like a fortress protecting another world. Su Yanglai tilted his head back while staring upward. "So, this is the refuge for all the survivors," he murmured. His eyes narrowed slightly. "The wall is pretty high. But," he glanced around, "there's no gate?" Pinger continued walking calmly. "One would need to climb over the wall," she explained. Then she shook her head. "Don't misunderstand. This is only a security measure." She placed her hand against the giant metallic wall. A faint ripple spread across its surface. "Only the guards of Star Palace can open the gate." A deep mechanical sound echoed around them. The massive wall slowly split apart from the center. Dust and air burst outward as the hidden entrance opened. "It can resist any level of hunters," Pinger explained proudly. Su Yanglai's eyes widened slightly as he stared at the advanced tunnel revealed inside the wall. A loud voice echoed from within. "Star Palace Vice President Su Yanglai." Another voice followed immediately after. "Welcome home." Pinger turned around with a gentle smile. "Let's go." Su Yanglai stepped inside slowly, but his eyes immediately froze. Beyond the tunnel was an entirely different world. Towering buildings rose into the sky. Bright lights illuminated clean streets. People moved around peacefully as if the apocalypse outside did not exist. Although chaos ruled the outside world, this place still looked alive. "It's all thanks to the Star Guards," Pinger explained while walking beside him. "Star Guards," Su Yanglai repeated. They are the protectors of Star Palace. As they moved deeper into the city, she continued explaining. Star Palace is located in the middle of a huge abyss. The guards are trained to protect the entire palace. Images of powerful fighters flashed through Su Yanglai's mind as she spoke. They are selected by tiers, she continued. D, C, B, A, and S. Ah, Su Yanglai nodded slowly. Aren't they just gate guards? Pinger immediately turned toward him with a troubled expression. At that exact moment, Zhao Pinger. She suddenly stopped walking and looked shocked. A rough-looking man sat nearby with several others gathered around him. He wore military pants, a sleeveless black shirt, and a red band around his forehead. His posture looked lazy, but his eyes were sharp. The plaque beside him read, Star Guard Level C Hunter, Just Zhang Tianhong. The man rested his chin on his hands while staring directly at Su Yanglai. You're coming to the palace without permission, he said coldly. Then he smirked. Am I dead to you? People nearby immediately began whispering among themselves. I was sure Star Searcher Long Ming would come back one day. Guys, she has to give up. Didn't he say that 30 years ago? Long Ming Pinger visibly tensed. Meanwhile, Zhang Tianhong narrowed his eyes while staring at Su Yanglai. Are you still searching for him? He asked. Pinger instantly panicked. Her shoulders trembled slightly. The lady ran away again, she muttered internally while lowering her head. She's so stubborn. Rain suddenly began pouring heavily from the sky. Pinger quietly stood there under the rain. Long Ming, she whispered softly. Then, Oi. A figure suddenly stepped past the crowd. Everyone turned. Su Yanglai casually cracked his shoulder while walking forward. Gate guard. The crowd stared in confusion as he pointed toward the gathered people around Zhang Tianhong. You have a whole gang of people bullying this poor lady. He tilted his head slightly and smiled. Isn't that a bit embarrassing? The atmosphere instantly became tense. Gate guard, Su Yanglai repeated mockingly. Zhang Tianhong's face darkened immediately. Are you an outsider? He asked coldly. The nearby crowd began whispering again. This young man isn't half bad. The outsiders are the most arrogant. Zhang Tianhong slowly stood up. Star Palace, he said coldly, doesn't welcome outsiders. The moment he finished speaking, his body exploded forward. Smoke, blast hit, boom. His attack smashed violently into the ground as debris exploded everywhere. But Su Yanglai had already moved away. He slid across the stone floor before stopping himself with one hand. Dust scattered around him. Zhang Tianhong frowned. My body's becoming really light, Su Yanglai thought while flexing his fingers slightly. Then a grin slowly spread across his face. This is the result of my new power? Suddenly, several men from the crowd rushed toward him angrily. You attacked the guard. One after another they charged recklessly. But before they could reach him, thud, thud, thud. Every single one of them suddenly slammed face first into the ground. A heavy pressure crushed the entire area. The stone pavement cracked under the force. Gravity field tenfold. Golden energy spread outward around Pinger as her hair fluttered behind her. The crowd froze in fear. She floated slightly above the ground while maintaining the pressure with a calm expression. Nobody will touch him. Her voice became cold. While I'm here. The terrifying pressure of Pinger's gravity field continued crushing the entire area. Cracks spread across the stone pavement while several men remained pinned helplessly to the ground. Pinger floated slightly above the surface, golden energy swirling around her body. 5 R-level ability. Gravity field, she declared calmly. It can increase the gravity around you. Zhang Tianhong gritted his teeth while forcing himself to stand. Sweat rolled down his forehead as the pressure intensified around him. Unfortunately, Pinger continued. It's only 10 times more. Zhang Tianhong suddenly smirked. I can't feel anything. Boom. The ground beneath him exploded apart as he forcefully broke free from the gravity pressure. Dust and shattered stone burst outward. In the next instant, he launched himself directly towards Su Yanglai with monstrous speed. Ha! His fist descended violently towards Su Yanglai's face, but Su Yanglai calmly leaned sideways at the last second. Zhang Tianhong's attack missed completely. Before the guard could react, Su Yanglai grabbed his arm and slammed him downward. Boom! The entire ground shattered from the impact. Zhang Tianhong's eyes widened in shock. Then, suddenly, his expression froze completely. What? His body suddenly became lighter and lighter. The force supporting his movement vanished. I'm losing my power. Dark purple energy began spiraling around Su Yanglai's body like flowing smoke. The strange aura twisted violently around his arms while black-purple currents pulsed outward. Su Yanglai grinned slightly. Ha! He laughed. Never thought of this. The purple energy intensified. Zhang Tianhong panicked instantly. See, stop it. But it was already too late. The dark energy wrapped around his arm completely while Su Yanglai absorbed the surrounding force directly into himself. Boom! Zhang Tianhong's body smashed violently into the broken ground again. Pinger's eyes widened. Master! Nearby civilians stared in complete disbelief while hiding behind debris. Then, suddenly, a massive crimson explosion erupted across the city. Boom! Far away, inside the deepest area of Star Palace, several figures immediately sensed the disturbance. A tall, purple-haired woman stood near a luxurious balcony while staring toward the explosion. Her revealing black and red dress fluttered slightly in the wind. It looks like, she said with a faint smile, you can feel it as well. The plaque beside her read, Star Guard Level Number 3, Nine-Tailed Fox Yu Fei. She slowly turned her head toward another figure sitting elegantly nearby. Sitting beside her was a pale blonde man wearing extravagant crimson clothing decorated with black roses and sharp crown-like ornaments. He calmly swirled the wine inside his glass. Yes, he answered quietly. This power. His cold eyes narrowed slightly. It's Long Ming. His plaque read, Star Guard Level Number 3, Earl Dracula. Back near the gate, dark purple energy still spiraled around Su Yanglai's body, while Zhang Tianhong lay collapsed before him in terror. Zhang Tianhong's pupils trembled violently. The endlessness of dim. He slowly backed away while staring upward at Su Yanglai like he was looking at a monster. Isn't this Long Ming's ability? His voice shook uncontrollably. Just who are you? Su Yanglai stood quietly while the purple aura flowed around him. Then he looked directly at Zhang Tianhong and answered calmly. I am... He paused briefly. Your father. Complete silence followed. Even the crowd froze. Meanwhile, Pinger suddenly rushed over happily. Zhao Pinger, I'm here, master. She smiled brightly while clasping her hands behind her back. Su Yanglai immediately rubbed his stomach tiredly. Can we say something now? He muttered weakly. I'm starving. Pinger blinked once before smiling brightly again. Okay. She quickly grabbed his arm and began pulling him forward through the street. I have a really huge appetite, too, she declared cheerfully. Su Yanglai sighed helplessly while allowing himself to be dragged away. It's fine, he muttered. Just eat to your heart's content. The surrounding civilians stared at them in shock as they passed by. This guy is only an outsider. He beat up the level C guard so easily. And used Long Ming's ability. Who in the world is he? Suddenly, tap, tap, tap. The sound of wooden sandals echoed nearby. Pinger immediately stopped walking. Su Yanglai turned around curiously. A young woman stood behind them wearing a beautiful patterned kimono while carrying two swords at her waist. Her long black hair flowed behind her while killing intent quietly filled the air around her. "Is Zhang Tianhong avoiding me again?" she asked coldly. Then her sharp eyes locked directly onto Su Yanglai. "I'll kill him." The plaque beside her identified her immediately. Su Xiaobai's bodyguard best swordsman, Zhang Zhe-qin. One of the nearby men nervously whispered, "Guys, don't kill these people." Before the atmosphere could worsen further, another woman suddenly approached calmly from the opposite side. She had short green hair, glasses, and wore a white scientist coat over black stockings and a red shirt. "Can't you do something else?" She sighed tiredly. "For Pinger?" The plaque beside her read, "Su Xiaobai's bodyguard scientist, Lei Xin." She adjusted her glasses before looking toward Su Yanglai thoughtfully. "There's a swordsman and a princess always finding this man," she muttered internally. Pinger immediately hugged Su Yanglai's arm proudly. "Don't worry," she said confidently. "Master also beat him up for me." Su Yanglai nearly choked from embarrassment. "Oi, oi." His "oi." His face twitched slightly. "Don't say it like that in front of so many people." Zhang Zhe-qin narrowed her eyes instantly. "You call him master?" she asked slowly. Lei Xin's expression also became serious. "Is he?" Pinger nodded excitedly without hesitation. "Yes." She pointed proudly at Su Yanglai. "Su Yanglai was the first-class SSS Plus of my school." Then she declared loudly enough for everyone nearby to hear. "He is the heir to the broken god Long Ming." Even Lei Xin looked stunned. "He is also the person who we selected." Then Pinger smiled brightly once more while hugging Su Yanglai even tighter. "He is." She raised her head proudly. "Our new master." Su Yanglai stood there silently while everyone around him stared in absolute shock.